Good evening, welcome, and thank you for joining us today, guys. For the people who are joining us first time, a very happy new year to all of you who are able to make it to today's webinar session from PMI UAE chapter. I think we really are grateful for the people who have been with us last year so far and who have been giving their support to us throughout with their presence, with their fantastic questions, with their contributions. We want to really thank out from the bottom of our heart, from the PMI UAE chapter perspective, that your contribution and your presence make really us proud and make us stand out, shine in the MEMA region. So thank you so much again and welcome again to the people who are joining from Middle East. Good evening. And if somebody is joining from outside Middle East in different time zone, probably good afternoon or good morning, possibly. This is Anshul Chaube here and the part of the PMI UAE chapter events team and your moderator tonight with our esteemed speaker with us. So please feel free to introduce yourself in the chat section, which is open for all of us. So far, I can see people are still joining from different segments. So you can tell them where you're joining from and which sector you belong to from the industry perspective. That would be really helpful for the rest of the audience to go and engage with you. If you need, you can post your LinkedIn and other coordinates if you want to do a more social networking from the perspective of project management side of the things. Feel free to do so in the chat section. We have today our team members behind the scenes, of course, with me, Amir, Ankur, and Parvez, who have been doing their bits to make this webinar successful. And we are quite hopeful that it's the first webinar today for 2025. So this year would be continued effort to bring the most valuable sessions to you in the form of information, in the form of knowledge sharing, in the form of skill enhancing, and overall the increasing the perspective and the width and breadth of the knowledge areas of the different project management techniques and tools and strategies with us. So with that in mind, a happy new year again, once again, and let's start the session with the today's topic discussion is going to be knowledge management and sustainability. And most of the time, what we do is for the people who have already gone through this, we would be doing a small presentation for UAE chapter of the PMI that will allow you to understand what this chapter is about and then who we are and what we do. With that, of course, after that, we will also learn more about our speaker. We have Sonal with us, and then she's the corporate communicator consultant from Mandra Care. And in today's session, we are expecting a lot of things to get explored and discussed. But before that, I will definitely take a time to introduce a chapter to you guys. Meanwhile, let me see how many people have joined us. Give me a second. By the way, we really hit the record registration. This time, more than 500 of the registrations were registered for this particular webinar. I think a bit of credit goes to Amir as well. He has been doing the fantastic job behind the scene in the eBlast and sharing this communication with you, all of you. So which we have 150 people have joined with us. That's really good. And let me share my screen quickly just to make sure that we have the chapter introduction slides coming up now. Great. So the PMI UAE chapter, before that, we are the part of PMI. PMI is the fantastic organization, which we all know has been pioneering 1969 onwards, the group of working project professionals. And since then, we still are going great. And as a part of the PMI source and resource, we are the go-to gold standard for project management. So this is one of the largest professional association in the world. And of course, one of the reputed as one as well, globally recognized in the form of standards and credentials. And we offer a lot of training, accreditation, and communities workshops as well. With the chapter perspective, PMI UAE chapter is the part of PMI in the MENA region. And we have our own chapter vision, which says that empower and influence individual with the innovative project economy principles to turn ideas into reality. To make this vision happen, the mission statement goes to disrupt and create value-driven opportunities to our chapter members and partners, and to become agile, innovative, and productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. With that in mind, this chapter really is the group of the individual working 100% by volunteers. We have crossed 4,000 plus chapter members. ranked among the top 5 chapters in the EMA region. That's really a kind of proud moment for all of the people who've been associated with the chapter so far. We are heavily focusing towards the industries which are leading and the trends in the form of areas which are making the noise around the industry. We are also serving the UAE as a community of project managers. And of course, most of them are certified project PMI certified holders in the project program and portfolio professional at times. So we see these capabilities and offerings coming in as a professional importance to all of you. We all depend on all of you and your support, your contribution, your inputs to make our chapter activities as invigorating as possible and make it much more exciting. With the chapter board, Mr. Adil Sultan is leading the board with the presidentship, and all of the board of directors is helping him out in the bits and pieces of their own functional areas. We have some chapter benefits specifically associated. Of course, we have networking, which is one of the great element of the chapter. We have knowledge sharing, career growth, and events. This particular webinar is a part of diversified webinar section under the events pillar there. We have some new initiatives which were launched in 2024, specifically as a member corners and a spotlight. So feel free, if you are already the member, reach out to us, and there's an email address down there which you can directly go and approach to get your voice heard, and you can share your own thoughts and expertise as well. If you want to learn more about the chapter and the upcoming events, definitely feel free to go to the website, which is pmiua.org. Plus, we have a lot of social media handles, which definitely you will learn and get the great deal of information. For example, PMI UAE chapter YouTube channel, where we publish all these webinars in the recorded form, so that if anybody has missed out, they can have an opportunity to go and look back to the recording from that perspective. Plus, we have the different membership volunteering and info email addresses for the respective areas to get addressed from the respective teams. So with that in mind, I think that was the chapter introduction. We definitely would want to learn and get more members with us so that we can make better contribution to the community together. Coming back to the webinar now, today's session, we are going to explore the vital connection between knowledge management, which is one of the power skills, of course, around the project management side of the things, plus sustainability, right? So how emphasizing our knowledge management practices that can drive sustainable success into the projects and organization is what we are going to see. Now, this session is specifically going to highlight the role of knowledge management and how is it going to embed sustainability principles into the project management concepts. Some practical approaches, which Sonal will like to share with us, that how to create this culture-driven approach, which can support your decision-making in sustainable form. Plus, some case study showcasing the impact of a knowledge management area on achieving the long-term sustainable goals. This webinar is going to uncover really actionable strategies for all of us to leverage knowledge management and to create lasting value, enhance resilience, and align with the global sustainability initiatives. So before we take a deep dive with our esteemed speaker, I would like to explain some housekeeping notes. We will keep the webinar, a particular core session, around 1 hour. And of course, the last 10 minutes, we will try to keep it for your question and answers. We will try to follow the agenda. And of course, with that, I will try to get most of the questions, if the time permits, to get answered by Sonal. So with that in mind, the stage is yours, Sonal. And we are really eager to know you and to know your expertise as well. Over to you, Sonal.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Anchal, for that introduction and explaining about your organization, plus about the webinar topic. And I'm, thankful to PMI UAE chapter for giving me the opportunity to conduct this webinar on a crucial topic, which is knowledge management and sustainability. So, as you all know, my name is Sonal Chibber, and today I'll be exploring how knowledge management can play an important role in embedding sustainability into project management. So, in the next hour, we will deep dive into some practical ways you can harness knowledge sharing practices to create sustainable long-term impacts in your projects. So basically, your project life cycles in the organization, how they can be impacted with not, amalgamation of knowledge management and sustainability. So we will also discuss some real world case studies to see how organizations who have successfully applied these concepts and have benefited from it. Um, so this is the overview of webinar objectives. So we'll explore, as I said, the connection between knowledge management and sustainability. We will highlight some actionable strategies and practical tools. And in the end, we'll discuss some case studies of, sustainable success. So before I go into the importance of knowledge management, I would like you to, have an understanding what you all feel is, knowledge management and sustainability. So if you can type in the chat box, you can say KM is equal to what you understand by knowledge management, and sustainability S is equal to what you understand by sustainability. I want to see like where we are starting from and what is your understanding, because of course you people are from different organizations and different fields. So let us gauge like what do you understand basically from the word when I say knowledge management and sustainability. So KM and S. Okay. Most of you have a clear understanding, I believe, of KM and S. So KM is basically, capturing, sharing, and applying knowledge effectively into your organization. And why KM is really critical for sustainability? Because it helps in informed decision making, it helps in cross functional collaboration, and reducing redundancies and resource waste. As you know, Dubai is a land where a lot of people join in, a lot of employees, and people keep changing, the cities or the jobs. So if you don't have a database of knowledge management in your organization, then it's very difficult to carry out sustainable projects, or align your global sustainability goals with the UN sustainability goals. So the role of KM is basically embedding sustainability into project planning and execution and organizational policies and culture. So sorry. So why do you think is KM and sustainability integral topics in today's world? I mean, why there is so much emphasis suddenly over these two spheres? I would say, especially after the pandemic and COVID period, their relevance has increased, because in the COVID we saw people going online. There were so many tools introduced, so many platforms introduced to connect cross functional teams. And plus there were organizations who are going paperless, and so many remote settings, hybrid settings came into being. So all this happened during the COVID. I would say it was a blessing in disguise in some way, because it made us realize why knowledge management and sustainability is important for every organization. It's not a buzzword anymore. It is an integral part which every organization has to, focus if it wants to be successful. And especially, I think it came into being because there were a lot of global challenges which was happening, like there was resource depletion, there was climate change, there was social inequality, and environmental degradation happening all over the world. And so it was very important to have sustainable measures and projects in the organization, and it was not just the responsibility of CIOs or CTOs to carry out these functions. The leadership had to step in and take charge, and every employee was responsible for these measures. And there had to be a database where all the knowledge was integrated and kept, so that everybody, not only the project teams, but everybody had access to it, so that if some pandemic happens or somebody leaves or some other contingency happens, then the organization does not suffer because of it. So as you can see, the benefits of integrating knowledge management with sustainability, it enhances the resilience, and then it improves the resource efficiency and innovation, and then long term value creation for stakeholders. And it's not just for internal stakeholders, it is for external stakeholders as well. Sorry, I'm having a sore throat, so pardon me. So if we see some practical approaches for knowledge driven culture, you can see it fosters a culture of sharing and continuous learning. I think COVID taught us all that we have to, share knowledge. It's not now kept up with the higher ups. It has to be shared with the ground level and with all employees. And there has to be constant learning, especially with AI and, so many tools or apps coming in. You have to be upskilled, and knowledge sharing and continuous learning is non-negotiable right now, I would say. And you have to implement tools and platforms for knowledge sharing, like there is knowledge management systems, there is intranets, and now there is Microsoft Teams, SharePoint. There are so many other tools which are now in business, and everybody is using them. And we have to establish leadership commitment to sustainability, which is focused on knowledge management practices. So you can see there are many tools and techniques for knowledge management and sustainability. So first being the knowledge repositories for sustainable best practices, and then data driven decision making using knowledge management analytics, and then leveraging technology, which is AI, ML, for sustainable insights. So all these are some actionable tools and techniques which I think it's vital for all organizations to follow. Otherwise they will lag behind, and especially with the UAE vision into sustainability and reducing carbon emissions and making the organization sustainable. I would say it is vital to use these tools and to integrate knowledge management and sustainability into your organization, into your project life cycles. So now I'll be discussing some case studies, which I think will make you understand the points better. So in the first case study, we'll take where there is embedding of sustainability in management through knowledge management tools. So if we take, for example, hypothetical organization like Green Tech Solutions, so it is a MNC and it is focusing on renewable energies projects, and they are facing some challenges in terms of their internal project management processes, because they are lacking the knowledge sharing infrastructure which is needed to ensure sustainability principles are embedded in the project life cycle. So they are facing those kind of challenges, and they have to focus on renewable energy projects, but they are not having a way out. So how knowledge management and sustainability can help them? It is if they implement a knowledge management system to collect, store, share sustainability related knowledge, and they can have those knowledge repositories, a database where everything is documented, the lessons and the past lessons and case studies. Then it will help them. And even they can use collaborative tools like I told you earlier, Microsoft SharePoint is there, conferences there, and they can share the documents, ideas, and solutions related to sustainability across the organization. So, this will help them, and they can have knowledge management champions also in their organization, which can be the designated employees who are there to, facilitate knowledge sharing on sustainable practices and trade project outcomes. So there can be a dedicated staff for this, because it's not something which you can put in the bottom of the track and say we don't need and we'll just have a project on sustainability and that's done. It's not like that. It has to be a continuous process. And there can be sustainable dashboards also, where the project managers, they track sustainable metrics like carbon footprints or reduction in the resource usage in real time and facilitate changes. So if they integrate knowledge management and sustainability into the organization, so the result would be that there would be standardization of practices, there will be continuous improvement, and there will be improved project outcomes, which is the goal of every organization. So in this case study, we see how embedding the sustainability in project management through knowledge management tools really helps the organization in achieving its desired project outcomes. And then if we go to the case study 2, which is knowledge sharing practices, which a global organization can adapt to, for resource efficiency. So suppose there is a global manufacturing corporation and it is having issues related to resource efficiency across operations and in relation to energy use. So what can they do really about it? Because they have to leverage knowledge management if they want to counter these issues. And how they can leverage it, they can have a cross border knowledge sharing. As you know, right now the stakeholders in the company are in the different parts of the countries, continents, and there are different time zones. So it is really important to have a cross border knowledge sharing platform. And there should be monthly knowledge webinars like we are conducting here. Every organization should get some experts from different regions who talk about water consumption, energy efficiency. So they give the technical knowledge to their employees with practical outcomes, so that the employees know that this is not something they can ignore, and they have to make use of knowledge sharing and sustainable issues. So, and there should be some incentive programs as well, where the teams who come up with innovative ideas which lead to resource saving, they are rewarded. And some, people who make extra effort into, talking about or sharing knowledge about sustainable and knowledge management tools should be really rewarded by the organization, so that everybody gets encouraged to step in and do something about it. And they should be dedicated knowledge management roles in the organization. Like we have so many consultants, we have so many managers, we have so many marketing personnel, but in the organizations I feel there is not a dedicated staff for knowledge management. So I think there is a need for that, because in coming years till 2030, I think there will be a lot of changes, technology wise, sustainability wise. So it's vital to have a dedicated staff, a knowledge manager, maybe, or a knowledge management personnel, who act as facilitators in each region. So each region can have a knowledge management facilitator for the organization, whose role will be to gather and synthesize and disseminate key learnings across organization, and share the knowledge to everybody. And so everybody in different regions of the organization or branches, they know what is happening and what are the measures which the company will take in the times to come, and what has been the progress so far. So these facilitators can do the job of communicating that. And if all this will happen, of course, there will be increase in resource efficiency, there will be factor innovation adoption, and there will be strong collaboration. Collaboration is very important. Like, we cannot work in an isolation. Of course, there are different departments in the organization, but unless we all collaborate, we all do brainstorming, we all are at par with these initiatives, then the organization as a whole won't benefit. So it's not just the role of, one CIO or CTO, it is the role of leadership, it is the role of all employees to come at par and, recognize the importance which knowledge management and sustainable measures can play in their organization, and accordingly, have a plan, mission, and vision for 5 years ahead, and then, progress. So for the case study 3, so if we see, there is collaborative KM platforms enabling cross-border sustainability initiatives. So, there could be a World Green Construction Network, which could be an NGO, and whose job would be, promoting construction of energy efficient buildings, focusing on environmental sustainability. But of course, they will have the challenges, like there will be multiple stakeholders with different approaches and different mindsets, and there will be different time zones and a lot of barriers. There will be no centralized platform for them to discuss things. So if they have a collaborative knowledge management platform, they can have cloud-based collaboration tools, like there could be a centralized platform, Microsoft Teams or Slack, and they can be virtual sustainability communities, and they can encourage their staff by having green building certifications, or sustainability officer certification, so that people have an incentive that not only they will get certificate, they will be a part of knowledge management and sustainable issues in the organization, which are quite vital for its growth. And there could be knowledge sharing events, there could be virtual conferences, and there can be experts from all around the world who can share knowledge, and there could be integrated reporting systems as well, where the knowledge can be shared. So all this will result in collaborative sustainable projects, and there could be a knowledge transfer as well, and there will be strong global network, which is very important for every organization these days. So basically, if they use the simple dashboards in the KM tools, and they have cross-border collaboration, and they have knowledge sharing, resource efficiency, then I think all the organizations, they could be in construction, they could be an NGO, they could be a sustainable organization, whatever, if they integrate knowledge management and sustainable initiatives in their project life cycles, I'm sure the outcomes will be as their estimated desire, and then the organizations can benefit. So these are some of the examples where different organizations can make use of sustainable measures and knowledge management tools. So actionable strategies could be how to begin embedding KM into sustainability, and then map knowledge flows in your organization, engage stakeholders in sustainability dialogues, and set measurable knowledge management and sustainability goals. So these could be some actionable strategies of which all organizations and project managers and leadership can adapt to have positive outcomes. What could be the challenges and what could be the solution? So the challenges or the common barriers which are seen are basically resistance to change, because some organizations are 20-year-old or 50 years old, and they are running with their own processes, so they don't want to adapt new processes. Like they don't want to have sustainable initiatives or knowledge management, because they feel whatever is has been working till now will work. But that is not true, because times are changing and there are a lot of AI tools are coming up, a lot of sustainable issues are coming up, and you have to be with the time and be with your country's vision. And everybody should think about sustainable measures and knowledge management tools, because they are not like two poles apart or different concepts. They are integrated and very important for any project to be successful. And then there could be lack of alignment between knowledge management and sustainability goals. Maybe some organization is having some knowledge management database, but how to embed sustainability goals, or vice versa? If they are having sustainable initiatives but they are not having a knowledge management database, then things won't work in isolation, because both of them are integrated, and both of them will benefit if they are together and there is a proper alignment. And what could be the strategies to overcome these challenges? So, as I said earlier, there has to be clear communication and training of all staff. It should not be, some part of the company employees are getting trained and others are not trained, because in the end, all have to collaborate and all have to work together. So there has to be, clear communication and training, and knowledge has to be shared equally with all regarding the sustainable issues and the knowledge management database. And then they should be incentivizing knowledge sharing behaviors. So as if somebody comes with an innovative thought or a knowledge management tool, a new tool, that employees should be rewarded, because incentives is something, as employees we know and we crave for the incentives from the organization. So I mean, it will help both way. The organizations will benefit if they give incentives to people coming with out of the box thinking, and the people will also build an interest and have uh, take initiative to get trained or think out of the box. So it works both ways. So I would say key takeaways is that KM is a powerful enabler of sustainability, and it helps in better decision making, and it helps in sustainable project outcomes. So there could be project management templates which an organization can have. The knowledge management could be embedded for project teams to make informed, sustainable decisions, and the KPI in project dashboards should be there. There could be dashboards which are created that have sustainable KPIs for the project managers to see how far they have reached and what is lacking and how they can fill the loophole. So there could be a sustainability audit. Like we have so many audits, we have communication audit, we have other auditing in the organization, but we never have a sustainability audit. I think that is the need of the hour, because there has to be a sustainability audit so that we know what how we have been faring and where we can go ahead. So you have to analyze what is the biggest challenge in your organization, and how are you currently managing the knowledge in your organization, and how you can upgrade it. So there has to be some practical steps to align KM with sustainability initiatives. Like I said, there could be many tools which can be used, and you can take examples of the case studies of many organizations. Like recently Kipsons was into sustainability. There are a lot of temples who are just recycling the flowers, or there are so many organizations who have gone paperless, and so many initiatives are going on. Carbon emissions are getting reduced, and there are so many initiatives which the government is taking, and then individual organizations are taking. And I think only those organizations are benefit benefiting, who are taking, knowledge management and sustainability seriously and embedding in their system, in their organizations, training their employees to go with the times. Only those, I think, organizations will be there to watch out for in future. So it's time, the organizations wake up and realize that how this can help their project life cycles, project managers, their whole team, their whole organization. So it is very important. And I would say, I mean, there is no two ways that we can escape it, especially after the COVID and pandemic, and we never know what else is in store in future. So we have to be prepared, and we have to have a knowledge database shared with everyone. We have to have sustainable measures in the organization and make it more environmental friendly, because in turn it will help us and all people and organizations and country as a whole, society as a whole. So it's very important. So I think that was what I wanted to say on this subject. You are free to share your experiences, what kind of knowledge management and sustainable measures your organizations are using, and how you are thinking to upgrade your knowledge. So you can share your experiences, or you can ask certain questions to me. And sorry, due to my bad throat and paucity of time, if I'm not able to answer, then you can always email me and we can connect, and I can share this slide and other tools with you as well, which you can use in your organization and make it number one organization in UAE and globally. So thank
Thank
you for
you.
the time.
I
Yeah.
think it was really a great thing for you, as we all can understand that you've been struggling with the sore throat, and somebody wrote in the chat as well that we can easily sense that out, that you've been struggling a bit with the voice. But I really appreciate, really thank you for taking that effort and pain,
Mhm.
despite of you're not keeping 100% to
Yeah.
share this interesting aspect about knowledge management to the audience. There
Mhm.
are some questions. Definitely, we have a lot of time at the moment with us. I will just take them out for you, and let's see how much we can do. But yeah, first question comes from Rahab. Is that what is the best way to extract the tacit knowledge around knowledge management? Because knowledge is of two types, right? Tacit and other type. So how do you explore the tacit knowledge? Because that stays not into documents and carries most of the time in the experience levels with the audience and with the team members, and might be with the sometimes with the leadership team as well. How do you address that issue?
So I think it depends really on the organization, what kind of organization and what projects they are dealing with, whether they are dealing with construction, whether it's an NGO, whether it's a government entity, because everybody has their rules and regulations and everybody has their agenda. So they have to really first analyze their vision and mission, strategize what kind of knowledge management tool will work for them. For all employees, there can be a brainstorming done with the leadership team and project managers and come to alignment that what will work best for everybody, so that from the grassroots level till the leadership team, everybody is at par, and the knowledge shared is useful for everybody. It's not just scattered to a group. So there can be cloud based knowledge sharing. There could be a database which is dedicated for knowledge sharing, and every employee should have an access to that, especially if they are undergoing this important project, and suddenly some employee leaves or something happens. It should not be that knowledge is gone. So whatever is happening should be documented, and everybody should be at par and know what is happening, and then channelize it accordingly.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the culture plays a definitely a significant part, as you said, Sonal, in capturing that asset knowledge. I
Mm.
think my experience, of course, this kind of knowledge is implicit. So what we used to do is that we were always trying to bring the culture about training and mentorship. Okay.
Mm.
With that, what used to happen is that most of the time when we call the people for the coaching sessions or for the mentorship sessions, we
Mm.
really undercover a lot of things which were not into the policies and procedures, not anywhere existing in the form of kind of checklists, or
Mhm.
might the domain experience, for example, those were all missing out. And when these were all being shared openly in the coaching session, specifically because the
Mm.
people come with the welcome mindset, people used to come to share the things from the perspective of their experience. We
Mm.
used to record those sessions and
Yeah.
that recording, and we used to make those recording, of course, transcribe it, and then from that used to extract it into the articulated buckets of, is it a knowledge about procedure, is the knowledge about domain, or is it knowledge about tools and techniques, or is it knowledge
Mm.
about failures. So
Mm.
this is something that definitely I have learned with the mentorships and the collaboration aspect. Documentation is definitely encouraged, as you said, but I
Right.
that is something that what came to my mind. We
That's quite useful. I would say recordings are very much, need of the hour, and it is very good. Nowadays, also, whatever we do, we record and document it. So that
yeah,
is a very effective way so that, the knowledge is not lost. The purpose is that, like in times to come, the knowledge should be there for everybody to gauge and everybody to improve. So, yeah, that's a good point.
thank you. So I think the question from Ayman is that should organizations have a policy for knowledge management? What do you recommend?
Of course, I mean, they should have policy and they should have a dedicated staff also. Like I spoke about, there should be knowledge management champions or dedicated facilitators in different regions. So, of course, unless it is, documented in policy that these things should happen, it won't happen. Because talking is one thing and having it, written and documented is, another thing to make it more effective. So, I
Hmm.
think is the need of the hour for
Yeah.
all the companies to have that policy, and some companies are having it now. It's not like most companies don't have, they have, but it is like earlier the understanding was only the CIOs or CTOs will be responsible for this domain, sustainability and knowledge management. But now, the leadership has stepped in, and now things are moving more efficiently. So I would say policy, it has to be in the policy to make it more effective. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Uh, we have two questions from Nosheen. Of course, you one of the slides you were writing about actionable insight, and as in project management, we there's a huge focus in monitoring, right?
Yeah.
So we spoke about to measure the practice about sustainability. Now, knowledge management initiatives, how what kind of metrics or the KPIs we should or organization could use to measure the success of these initiatives, number one, and that is driving sustainability, more importantly. And
Mm.
then are there any specific tools or the frameworks that work best for supporting sustainability initiatives in specific?
I would say you have to clearly define, first of all, the sustainability goals. Then you have to set targets for sustainability, because to measure KPIs, you have to first set the standards. Like if you are having an initiative for reducing carbon emissions or improving resource efficiency or enhancing community engagement or adhering to sustainability standards, first you have to define what are your goals. And then, for example, a company sets a target that in the next 5 years they have to reduce the carbon footprints by 15%. So they have to support this by creating repository on energy efficient technologies and best practices. Then only they will be able to achieve their target. And there has to be datable document lessons. Example, there is a construction firm and it is creating a knowledge base of efficient energy designs. So this will help the organizations in future. And there has to be a knowledge sharing culture, because KPIs are measured is one thing, but then there has to be documentation and what was the lessons, how did it work, and how far the goals were achieved. And if they were not achieved, then there has to be another strategy which has to come into place. So there has to be lot of integration of knowledge management and sustainability, and set targets and goals should be there aligned to the organization, their projects. And then the KPIs or the metrics could be seen how it's, they have achieved it or not, and what is lacking, and then they can make the strategy accordingly. Yeah.
Thank you. But any specific knowledge management tool or framework associated with sustainability initiatives, or just is irrespective of it, it's the same frameworks and tools apply everywhere?
I think right now, if the organization start with the basic tools, I mean that will help them more than to go with high-end tools, because there are many tools in the market and they keep coming up. But I think the basic, if they set a metric or the KPI to measure that, that would be the starting point. And then it depends on the organization how far it can take, because too many complexities will not help them, because all employees are not at the same stage. So if they have too many metrics or KPIs in the starting stage itself, it will make everyone apprehensive. So they have to start with the basic tools, and then maybe once the project and everything takes off, they can embed high tech tools. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Benel is asking, is this knowledge management and sustainability is the part of governance of an organization, or is it a policy in a separate way?
So it can be like a compliance also. It can be part of governance also. Like I said, there is not much visibility and not much awareness of it right now. So even the organizations are confused where to exactly place it, whether to
Yes.
place it in governance, compliance, or have it project based. So even they are not sure right now. So that's why the first person who asked the question how it has to be embedded in a policy, that will help to have it at a proper place. But I think it will be a mixture of governance and compliance, because if we are testing the KPIs metrics, then it will go into the compliance zone as well. So it could be the mixture of both. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, Webhub is asking again, I think this repetition of the question a bit. Any tools, any tool names which you like to bring it out that company should adopt to check the success of knowledge management as a function?
Mhm. So I think like knowledge is shared through Teams, SharePoint, other things, but I'm not aware of any high-tech tools which companies are using at the moment. So I'm not, so that's why I don't want to, give some information which is not authenticated or validated. So I think they are still in the initial stages of, having this, firstly incorporated in their organization. I think testing the tools and other things would come at a later stage.
Okay. Uh, we have some questions from anonymous perspective. What are the different best ways to capture the knowledge in an organization?
So, like having an integrated knowledge database wherein all stakeholders living in different countries, cross borders, globally, they can all share their knowledge, and they can have a knowledge database. Some organization like SAP and all, they have a knowledge database which is accessible to all employees. They could be sitting in India, they could be sitting here, they can learn, they can upgrade, they can know what is happening, and everybody keeps sharing their thesis or case studies or thoughts, which is which anybody can read, because it's a centralized platform. So I think more centralized platform which is globally available to all employees and stakeholders would be the key.
Okay, okay, great. I think, yeah, means the approach need to be around holistic level. As you said, integrated is the very important part of it, because when the more we fragment it, the more it will be
Mhm.
difficult to manage, more it will be difficult to monitor, more it will be difficult to measure. So,
Right.
of course, everything cannot be integrated from the day one, but the idea
Mhm.
should be, when we are trying to create a kind of policy or as a kind of framework around it,
Mhm.
definitely a big emphasis has to come out in the form of integrating it and how to consolidate the knowledge which is getting originated from different part and fragments across geographies or across functions down the line. Similar question has come, which is leading towards the same thing, Sonal.
Mhm.
They're asking that again, the knowledge management has to be limited to work or technicalities of a project or processes only, or
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
is it recommended to have a full-fledged record of all the challenges,
Mhm.
experiences? Any organization can go over the particular year of the works, and with all type of stakeholder regulation, environment, through the org chart perspective till the last employee. So what's your take on this? It has to go in hand, or what's the approach from the integrated knowledge management perspective would you like to comment on here?
So I would say it cannot work independently. Like
Mm,
we have so many, like I said, audits in the organization, communication audit is happening, financial audits happen. So there
mm,
has to be a sustainability audit as well. And it
mm,
has to be embedded in the system. Like you are having so many systems in your organization, there's so many departments. So there can be a knowledge management department where there are facilitators who do the work of embedding knowledge management and sustainability. So it cannot work in an isolation, like on a project basis. Like when they
mm,
have a small project, they integrate it, and when the project is over, they do away with that, because that won't help the organization in long term. If they
mm,
just use it for short term and project basis, it has to be a long term thing. And the sustainable measures will keep growing, it will not end, because we live in such times that sustainability and knowledge management have becoming integral, and it has to be integrated in every organization. So there is no way that short term project based will help. It has to be integrated into the system. It could be a department, and it could be dedicated personnel should be there who would be looking after these measures, and
mm,
that it can move on. It's not a one time thing that you have one event or knowledge management or sustainable measure and then it's over. It's not like that. There has to be a proper department, proper duties allocated, then only it will benefit the organization. So that's why I was saying learning and training of the employees is very important, because unless you train the employees that what we are getting into, they won't understand the knowledge management, and the metrics and KPIs are something which will come later. First, the basic understanding will be there, why we need to adopt it and how it will help the organization. So yeah.
sure. Thank you. That's really wonderful advice, Sonal. Farhan is asking is about what future challenges do you see in companies accepting knowledge management apart from culture and budgeting issues? What other challenges do you see in the future with the companies?
Like I said earlier, some companies are very old, like 20 years, 50 years, and they have been working on the same, same measures or same departments or same processes. So they could be, from their side resistant, like
Mm,
to adopt new, because it involves cost to have a department, to have a knowledge database platform, to integrate everything. It involves training as well. So certain companies who are not doing well, who are small scale, or certain companies who are old, so they are resident to change. So that would be a challenge. They would be thinking we really don't need it, we are going, doing well, it's fine. But then it's not true. As we know, the government is also emphasizing on sustainability, carbon emissions, knowledge management, and it has to be integrated into this system. It is like sooner or later they will have to adopt. So, the big organization, the IT giants have already adopted, but it's the resistance is coming from the old organizations, which I see because I keep conducting webinars and in corporates, and we talk about employee engagement and wellness whenever we have these webinars. So there's always some resistance from the leadership or the employees to try new things, to try new initiatives. So I think the challenge would be first to create an awareness, and amongst your employees, then creating a training program, and then investing in it. So certain companies might not want to invest, but unless you invest, it will there's no gain without pain. So you have to take the pains of having the department, and it will give you fruitful results in future. So I think challenge would be to break that barrier, which could come from different mindsets, from different challenges the company might be facing financially or otherwise. So yeah.
I think one of the key point on this aspect, Sonal, you mentioned in the previous slide before the thank you one, You mentioned about incentivizing as well, right?
Yeah,
So I think one of the barriers, what people are seeing is that, yeah, knowledge sharing behavior. So, and that is very important as well, because when the challenge, it comes from the mindset perspective, the scale perspective, a lot of resistance comes because the board thinks that what's beside being, uh, I'm going to tick mark and I want to bring it as a kind of brand value to me, or
yeah,
actually that really money on the table is going to come back in some form of revenue share. I think
true.
that mindset is also a big resistance from the top to down comes in, because ultimately then it becomes a shadow situation that there is a
Like
department
you mentioned, there
working.
has to be clear communication because that is lacking. Because some leadership or some employees in the company might think, but they would not communicate. So unless you communicate and there's a clear communication, like why it is needed, how it will benefit in next 5 years to come, so they can't bring about the change in isolation.
Yeah.
If they have just one department and say, okay, you do, and rest of they are doing their work, they don't know what that department is doing. I mean, how will they contribute and how will they think it will benefit? And then when won't the revenues won't come, they will wonder why it's not coming. We had a department open because they didn't share knowledge with everybody. There was not a clear communication. That's why told initially, they can't work in isolation. You can't just have some sustainable measures and don't have knowledge management database, or you have knowledge management and you don't have sustainable initiatives. It will affect your project life cycle because these two have to be integrated. So the resistance happens because everybody is not open to change, and there is lack of alignment between knowledge management and sustainability goals. But I think if you have proper strategies to overcome these challenges in form of clear communication, training, and giving incentives, then it will work definitely.
Sure. Now I've left with two more questions, Sonal, which is coming from the same gentleman, Mr.
I
Hisham.
won't be able to stretch more. So for more questions, I think they can email me and I'll give them a detailed
That's
answer
better.
with
That's
tools
better.
and everything. So
I
yeah.
think that's better. I think we have your email
Mhm.
address.
Mhm.
We will ask audience to take down note of the email address and post your question to her. She will be in the best of situation to respond to it.
And I will share some articles also and some tools also, which have already been published. So I will share those articles to whoever emails me. I've written a lot of articles on carbon emissions, sustainability, knowledge
Yeah.
management, and there have been some tools, tried and tested tools of some organizations.
Mhm.
Um, so that also I will share with them once they email to me. Then because it's another session if I start on those kind of tools, because certain companies are not open that their tools are shared on a public platform. So I cannot take the company's names for safety issues. But then if you email me, I can at least tell you to explore or from where to explore the tools or where to gain the information, and I'll share the articles also and the detailed documentation, because it can't be happening here because of my throat also.
No
So
problem.
sorry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand it totally. No problem. I have put your coordinates to the people who have been asking the question. I will send them the reply. They can reach out to you on your in your connection thing. Thank you so much, Sonal. I think that was really so nice of you to taking some effort again on the answering the some of the great questions coming from the great audience there. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much to everybody for having the patience to listen to me, and thank you to PMI UAE chapter for giving a chance to discuss such an important topic. And thank you to all the participants. I hope I could do justice. If not, then you can email me your queries, and I'll definitely respond back to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much, the audience, for being so engaged and then asking the great questions. Please reach out to her as she promised. She will definitely come back. Now,
Sure.
with that, shout out to the friends and marketing team who have been doing the perfect work around
Mhm.
propagating the right information on social media about the
Mhm.
PMI UAE chapter website and also in other social media handles. While
Mhm.
we're trying to close the webinar tonight, also the great applaud to the people who have been working behind the scenes from the other departments like membership outreach, volunteering, finance, and governance. because these are the guys who have been doing the work behind the successful webinars like these. So until we are going to touch base with our next webinar with the great speaker again, myself Anchal, your moderator host, and behind the camera with Amir, Parvez, and Joyce and Ankur. We'll wish you a pleasant evening ahead and God bless. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye. Take care.